Welcome everybody, and thank you so much for joining us today's presentation for the Resilient Veterans Program. My name is Ian Tucker and I'm a volunteer for the Springfield-Greene County Library District. I'm your host for this evening's program and will be monitoring the chat for technical issues and other concerns. This evening's presentation will be presented by Meleah Witt from the Upward Bound organization. A recorded version of this event will be posted on the library's YouTube channel in the upcoming weeks. To hear about upcoming library programs, be sure to visit our website or pick up a copy of our bookends at your favorite branch. Now I will hand things over to Meleah and we will get started. Let me stop sharing and then you are more than welcome to take control.
Okay. All right, so thank you for the introduction and thank you for allowing us to be here and talk about our program. I'm going to go ahead and slide into the presentation and then we'll get started. So as Ian said, my name is Meleah Witt with Veterans Upward Bound, and we are located in Springfield, Missouri at OTC's main campus in Springfield. Our program started about 4 years ago. We're kind of right in the middle of our 4th year of a 5-year grant that we were awarded through the Department of Ed. It is a grant that OTC applied for, and we have just been running with it ever since. Although we are at OTC, we do serve veterans who are looking to go to college anywhere. So whether they are a student at MSU, if they want to go to Drury, Evangel, or even somewhere to an online college across the nation, we can still provide services to help ease that process. Our current team right now, we are operating with only 3 of our full-time members. We currently have our director, Michelle Salisky, very knowledgeable with TRIO programs. She kind of cut her teeth in other TRIO programs that weren't specifically Veterans Upward Bound, but that also served high school populations. Myself as the advising coordinator, and I've been with the program for nearly 2 years now. There's George Mays. He is our new adult education coordinator, and his main function is to watch over the computer lab that we have at OTC that is free for use. Veterans come in, they can do schoolwork, get tutoring, print anything. And then we're currently in the process of hiring a new outreach coordinator. So we should have somebody shortly to introduce to the Greene County population. Pretty excited about that. Okay, the program's mission is just to provide free services to veterans. They are going back to school as non-traditional students. So we want to help everyone that we can to kind of make good decisions, not waste benefits. We want them to successfully enroll and complete post-secondary education. So what we do with those free services, we offer admissions assistance, we offer financial support and academic preparation. And in the following slides, we'll kind of go over what all that entails. So for admissions, what we're looking at is just really making sure that people are getting into the right program for them. So some of the ways that we do that is we have discussions about what school that they would like to go to. Because we are at OTC, people often just make that correlation and think, oh, this is the only school that I can go to if I'm talking to Veterans Upward Bound. But we can help them kind of explore what their options are and what schools in the area might actually be better for their circumstances, depending. But we can do things like once a person's in our program, they select a school, they select an academic program, then we can start to help them by way of getting their transcripts in, if they need anything like tuberculosis tests because they've been out of country or they haven't had one in the past year. We can basically just help them to plan classes according to degree plans and all of that. For financial support, a lot of people, they qualify for veterans benefits that help them go back to school, but a lot of people don't realize that they might also qualify for financial aid. So some people that have applied for FAFSA in the past have been under the impression that they don't qualify because maybe they had different circumstances then. As veterans, not only just being non-traditional, but being considered an independent student, no matter if, if you're using 2 years prior tax returns and maybe you went through basic training and maybe you weren't able to complete a full enlistment, but you're still entitled to the benefits that you have, you may find yourself in a situation where you're eligible for a lot more money than you originally could guess. So we kind of walk people through that process, let them know about all of the scholarships that are veteran specific that they might apply for as well. And then our program actually does have a once per year $500 scholarship that we offer to participants only. And so it's kind of just a little bit extra whenever you kind of gather all of those financial resources together. It makes college a lot more viable than people were thinking, like, oh, I'm gonna have to quit my job. We have work study options. And so there's just a lot of different ways that people can get money for school and make it really work for them, even if they do have families or other priorities to juggle. So our goal is just to make that as easy as possible. For academic preparation, we do center our services on pre-collegiate. So we offer refresher courses for people who have been out of school for a very long time. Math doesn't come as easily if you haven't been in a profession where you're constantly using it, and it's kind of like you just have to keep it fresh. And English is kind of the same way. What we find, if you haven't written a paper, all the rules have changed. There's 7th edition, and we do offer refresher courses, workshops where people can come in and kind of jog their memory or get some kind of placement. And we do have some tutors that can look over work and kind of walk you through the process step by step. So we have resources, a lot of textbook guides. We try and keep everything very current in our library computer lab. And then we also offer our summer academy, which is actually coming up here pretty soon, which is kind of a fun, we do get to throw in some extra learning experiences. I know we had some foreign language, and we do always try to do a refresher in the summer over like Microsoft Office Suite to get people up to speed on what has changed with that since they've been either out of school or out of the military in general, just kind of in the workforce. All right, and then we also do fun stuff. So we just recently did go help out at Habitat for Humanity at the Wilmuth Build very recently. It was a great volunteer opportunity, but we do have other things kind of on the lineup. We'll be taking a campus trip to MSU to kind of scope it out and get people familiar with the campus and where they can go to speak to advisors on that site. We typically did do social events. They are a little more sparse now that COVID has overtaken our world, but we try to offer as much as we can online versions. And then we do have social distance in our computer lab if people do want to join in person. Some of the things that we offer are some kind of publishing opportunities for people. Our program came out with Veterans Upward Bound, Veteran Voices magazine. And so we kind of just gathered stories, poetry, pictures, a lot of just information, artwork, and published it in this free copy of just an anthology of veteran voices. And then we had also turned that into a podcast at one point. And we haven't recorded anything, but we do hope that people will get on and kind of listen to the content that we do have. And hopefully we can get that up and running. We used to offer free coffee. That's kind of misleading now. We don't have any coffee in our lab. But that was always a nice incentive to kind of juice people up so they could go to class and stay awake, and hopefully we get that going again too. safely. Okay, so we do serve Greene County veterans, and we do have a couple eligibility requirements. So if our program is something that you think that you're interested in, I know that what we do offer is quite extensive, and it's not exactly a comprehensive list of everything that we do have to offer. And usually if people just come in and ask the question, we can usually find a way to either refer you to somebody that can help you better than we can, or we will find a solution for you. So it does make going to college a lot easier to have somebody where you can just walk into a centralized office and say, hey, I'm having a problem with all of this stuff. And that's kind of what we are, is just a concierge service for veterans going back to school. So we do have these eligibility points. The income-based requirement is something that it is, again, not going to bar you from not being in the program, but we do take the previous year's income levels. And usually for people who have just separated, that is something that is very workable. If they have one enlistment in, their taxable portion of their income is going to qualify them for the program. First generation status is going to be somebody who both of their parents had not earned a bachelor's degree or higher before they graduated from high school, basically. So if you're a first gen student, you would be the first one in your family. That doesn't include brothers and sisters. If your older sister has a bachelor's degree, you're still first gen. And that gives you priority in our program. The at-risk is going to be something that if anyone had received a disability rating, has issues concentrating, if you have taken an ACT test and your score was a little bit lower, that's going to be something to where it varies, and that's kind of success rates in school. What is the likelihood that you may not be able to complete? Because we really want to help those people kind of push through and have that accomplishment and get a certificate. It can be tech ed. It doesn't have to be a bachelor's degree. It can be anything that you're trying to accomplish. So we have the application online version, and also people can just walk into our offices at OTC. So our office is in Information Commons West 221. It's just right near Student Services. And we're pretty easy to find. We have flags all over our windows, and you just walk around long enough and see something military. Come in and apply.
I have some questions, if you don't mind me asking them real quick.
Yeah.
So the first is, I just want to double check, all the tutoring is free, especially like if I write a paper and somebody rereads it to proofread it and stuff, all that is free for me.
That's correct, as a participant in the program.
Okay, awesome. And then is there like a max amount, like after so much money, the like upward bound spins on me, like I get cut off, or is it kind of like a case by case basis?
Well, what typically happens is it's not really tied to a certain monetary amount that the program would spend on you. It's likely going to be your completion rate. So whenever we provide services, we can provide practically as many services as you need, as long as you're being successful in a higher education program. And that is something that would be entirely dependent on your conversation with the director. She will be the determining authority on when you enter into the program and when you get exited, just because of successful completion.
Okay, with that being said, is there like a GPA requirement? Like, do I have to reach a 3.0 or a 2.0? Or is that?
We don't have a GPA requirement to be in our program. There are a couple things that a person might want to, for example, eligibility for financial aid. So those are kind of not tied to our program, but it wouldn't matter if you had a 1.0 GPA, you would still be eligible for our program.
Awesome. So I have two more questions for you. Some of the organizations that we've brought on here, they also do the family of veterans. Is that something that you guys do, or do you have to be the veteran?
We do serve veterans only. So sometimes we cannot take a person that is a dependent or using military benefits into our program. However, we do always try to redirect them and we'll answer questions, but they can't officially be a part of our program.
Awesome. And then my last question is, do I need to be using my GI Bill to have you guys help me out?
No. So that is something where our program, we do a little bit of benefits counseling and a little bit of advising for people, just because they don't always know what they might qualify for. And so we typically like to kind of start from square one and say, okay, what is it that you think you're eligible for? And here's how to check that. So we will help them get their certificate of eligibility if they need it, if they don't know, and then we will provide alternate options for them if they meet criteria that we know makes them eligible for a different benefit.
Awesome. And then I know I said that was my last question, but I have one, I promise. So how can I contact you? And then when I contact you, what should I expect?
Okay. So you can contact us in a manner of ways. Like I said, you can come in and see us in our spaces, or you can call us. Our number is 417-447-7840. Alternatively, you can just email if that's your thing. We do have an email, vub@otc.edu. And we also have a Facebook page. So feel free to reach out to us there. Our handle is @VUBOTC.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I really do appreciate it. And then again,
Thank you.
if you has any questions, please reach out to either the library or you guys. You're welcome to leave. If not, I just have a couple more things, just talking about some books. And here are our 4 books again for our presentation that I've selected. So thank you so much for joining us today, and I hope you all have a great day.